Nobody's in here. What did I do? Whoa, beard's a little screwy. Oh my goodness. Whew. Oh, I believe I did that. I already stained brand new stuff. Helmet bag. Ruined. Guess I'm all by myself tonight. That's okay. I'm pretty good at talking to myself. Oh, there's a couple people. Hey, what's going on, Bill? Oh, my goodness gracious. Oh, I'm doing just fine. How are you? Cleaning the garage. Yeah, I'm not scrambling anymore, but I'm definitely, I got, after I get off the live, yep, got to do those puppies. So I only have two sets of Reapers that are, I got 2025's beginning of the year. I think they're April. I think they're April dates. I could tell you. I could just look at them. Was it 15th? Yeah, I think that's right. I think that was week 15, 25. I'll probably be on those if I had to guess, and then I have my 23s, which 23s worked pretty good last time I ran them. Yeah, me too. I did. I had to. Dude, that thing's rad. Again, huge shout out to Ronnie at Product 41 getting this out to me. It's lighter. It's definitely lighter than my other one. Not by a lot, but when I picked it up, I was like, oh wow, this is definitely a thing. Nice to yes. Yeah, that's it's been I won't say a struggle. It's just been a lot of hours. Not that not that the Shatter needed much, but I did have to. I got a brand new seat. Matter of fact, that's what's coming up Sunday. So Sunday's video, a little preview. I mount a brand new seat with seat savers, which I've never done before, and it's a long video, and I apologize, but if a newbie is coming along and has never mounted a seat before, I go from A to Z. It's everything and anything I can think of, and of course, yeah. But yeah, I happened to get a brand new clutch put onto this thing as well. I think I ran it. I just changed the oil on the clone, and I've already. I got to do a video on that too eventually. What the heck's that called? I'm looking right at it. And eventually, ultrasonic cleaner. Ultrasonic clean the carbs, both carbs on both engines, and new clutch on there, new gear guards, new chassis, new seat, new steering wheel. Oh, I'm going to be out of sorts. I haven't had new stuff like this in a very, very long time. Yeah, I think I am, Bill. All scaled, good to go. One thing I will say that's really nice about the here, we can look at it. All right, the up north here, and Bill, you know all too well, we don't like that 60-61% left is tough, especially for us big guys or bigger guys. I'm not meaning to insult anybody, but right side bite is a very real thing up north. You need to get your tires to bite pretty correct. So I don't like running, 59, 60. Well, 59 is okay, but 60, 61, I have found for me is just too much. This is 57.5 or something like that left, which is fantastic. And it seems like on the Shatter, my arm isn't smushed up against the chain guard as bad, because I was getting burnt pretty bad running on the Recon with the motor. So I don't know if they require a catch can. I just had that kind of laying around. There's a catch can, oil catch can, but we'll kind of walk around here a little bit. Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, Reaper Prep. uh, Big old Product 41 sticker there. Thank you a lot to those guys. Got the Insta mounted, and then Matt Kaler. Got the pedals up there. Got the Kaler custom steering wheel and all that. Oh, the clutch. Yeah, 5.3 titanium. Boom. Look at that thing. Scott had messaged me. He's like, hey, you going to get there, run that this year? I'm like, Saturday, man. So I spent quite a bit of time last night. I recorded the unboxing of the helmet. I recorded the before and after for the clutch video, or the seat video, because I had just filmed everything while I was doing it. You know, obviously talked the entire time I was mounting the seat. And then I had already edited the middle section of the video. And then last night I took to the board and you know, did the intro and did the outro of the video. So, and then I, you know, okay, save, and I get up in the morning and I went to sleep while it was saving, the way I do everything on my phone. And then I look at it and it's just like 39 minutes. I'm like, oh, people are gonna hate me. Either that or not watch it. One and two. That's a long video. Yeah, that should be. I gotta work tires. Work tires and load the trailer, basically. Everything else is put together. It's a whole lot of new. It's new to me, pretty much everything. It really is. It's gonna be, when I scaled it, the Shatter scaled, I mean, I put some cross into it, but as far as seat placement, nose weight, left side weight, right on, I put some cross into it. I gotta, you know, work tires a little, which means I gotta grind them a little bit because they're reapers. But yeah, yeah, I know that I will be ecstatic if I make the field. I know everybody's just go out and get that 2K. I get your sentiment. Obviously, everybody's there to do it, but I know that there's going to be a lot of talent. There's going to be a lot of fast guys there. So it's going to be a tall order to win it. It's not that I won't try, but making the field, I think will be fantastic. And it depends how many show up and how hard, you know, you gotta race into it. I do have it's a new body as of this year, but it's used. So not that I plan on using the bumper, but it's a small track, and I hope I don't get it torn up. I hope I don't damage anything too bad. But from videos I've seen before, there gets to be, you know, a couple spin outs and this and that, but it doesn't look like Dreamfield has a whole lot. You know, it doesn't have a super problem with people running over one another. We'll see. Yeah. Oh, you're fine. Don't ever. Yeah, I'm really, you know, it's quite a lot for me. Like I said, it's been years. When Walt was on board, you know, we had gotten 2 brand new UAS edition Recons, and I had brand new seats and this and that. I mean, that was 2017, so it's been a long time since I've been on anything new. I did do the Deuce, but that was a frame changeover, and then I did the Scythe, which was a frame changeover. But as a whole, everything together, this is the new stuff. This is everything's brand new type of thing. So yeah, yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, if you didn't mind hitting the like, that'd be fantastic. But yeah, it's been a lot of work. I didn't plan on scrambling like this at the end of the season. Like normally this is preseason type of stuff, but everything just kind of came together, and should be exciting. My buddy Doug, he might be watching. He is going with me on Saturday, so this is going to be the second trip that I actually have help at the track. That'll be fun. And I'm not taking the lift. I'm going to take the regular streeter stand and try and keep as light as possible type of thing. And plus, it's, you know, sometimes the lift it's a bit much. I got to get bigger tires on the front of that thing. It looks weird. I'm looking at it right now. It used to have big tires, and I blew one out, or it didn't blow one out. The hub broke off of it, off the big tire, and all Harbor Freight had was tiny tires, and everything's slanted. It's weird looking. You're fine. Just have fun. Be aggressive. Yeah, I know. I don't mind being aggressive, and I don't mind people being aggressive with me as long as it's not dirty. I try not to be dirty. I try not to. It has been a real bugaboo with me changing over to clone, knowing how aggressive those guys are, and then me wanting to give space. I mean, there was a couple times at the UAS Grand Nationals that I checked up, and because I didn't want to hit anybody too hard or anything. And there's that mentality that I was doing the proper thing to do. Now I fight with myself because that's, if you give up spots, if you brake check, if you give up a run, you're going to be in trouble from guys behind you. So I just have to be aware of it. I don't like making enemies on track. Again, I don't, Burris Racing, I don't mind being, I don't want to say used up. I don't mind having a little bumper put to me and scooch me up out of the way. That's fine. Getting center punched in the center of the corner sucks. But it's also going to be, I can count it on one hand, this is my 4th time ever running Reapers. So Selinsgrove was a big learning curve. I think I have an idea of what's necessary there next year if I go down to the Clone Wars, which I probably end up doing. Also, was it the Northeast Dirt Kart Series? Going to be on Vegas. That could be interesting. I'll have to get at least one new set of Vegas. I got a bunch of old stuff. I was on Vegas at UAS, the Grand Nationals, until the track was just too dry for them. Unless you had brand new Vegas, I think you were in trouble. But it does excite me. It's, I know the channel's sponsored by Burris and everything like that, and I love Burris and I run Burris, but also Vegas are in my wheelhouse. I ran Vegas for years and years and years on the open stuff. So I'm no slouch with a Vega. I know it was put out there, who's really good with Vegas, because the Northeast Dirt Kart Series coming to light. And I was just like, well, I'm fair at them. I've been on Track Tack and I've been on Vega long enough that they kind of go hand in hand. I've raced one time on the clone on my UAS Vegas, and it was working excellent till I got moved. So that was, and then I was playing up, and I had to get. I think I got up to. Did I get up to 3rd? I think I got back up to 3rd, and then off a restart, I was taken out again. I got moved off the initial start, which I was sitting outside pole. I don't blame them for doing it, because it's a good idea. You got to take one of the fast guys out of it, and then I fell back to 5th. I think I got up to 3rd before we restarted, and around I went, and that was the end of that. Yep. Lots of fun though. Yeah. I'll show it off again. This, dude. I mean, dude. Now I did take out. I'm going to do a full review on this. I probably could put the lower one back in, keep some of the dirt out of my helmet. But this new version of the Zamp, it comes with a breath deflector here. Now, in my opinion, when I put it on last night after I was done shooting all the unboxing and everything, I put it on, and the breath deflector was like coughing all that hot air I'm breathing out. And my glasses, a person with glasses, it might not be the best idea. It might be, pretty cool for somebody without glasses. You like it, capture you'll be able to, your breath will come out the vents, kind of put it out that way so it doesn't come up. But all the brand new, this year's Zamp shields come with anti-fog, which is super cool. Definitely something useful up north here. But it just, my other helmet isn't that heavy, but this thing just feels lighter. I took the other helmet out of the bag earlier, obviously to put this one in, and I just picked it up, and I was like, yeah, I think maybe I should put it on the scale and actually find out. But the first things first, I put it in my seat, wasn't even thinking, brand new stuff. We can't have new stuff. We can't have it looking nice. I had my air filter sitting in there all oiled up and just had them sitting in the seat. Didn't even think about it. Put the helmet in the seat just last night. And then I came around today and I was going to put the uh, outerwears over the filters. And I looked, I was like, you just can't have anything new, can you? Down south, Reapers don't like inside prep during the week, sand and prep. Yeah, that's pretty much what I'm gathering from up here. There is a process that you can, basically I'll say sand and wipe a day or two before. I've heard people doing that, but yes, it's the Reaper, in my opinion, it's not the same rubber. Obviously, one's made in Taiwan, one's made in the US of A's, but they are becoming Burris-ish, Burris adjacent. Yeah, sure. Date codes matter. Older tires, aged tires, 6 months old, letting them age, letting them get the same thing with Burris. That's a thing. I definitely know that when I was at Selinsgrove, you could not run brand new. There's no way. I was way better off running my 23s. I mean, a couple years old. So and I had heard people that were, fast were either on new 25s like January 25s or like 50 to whatever 48, 49, 50 of 24. They were on those were the fast ones, but I'll have to I'm going to get some new rasps and do some cutting eventually here on the Reapers because I have multiple sets of the 23s. So if I happen to ruin a set goofing around, fine, no big deal. I can just, they're cheap enough. I'll get another set or something. But I want to cut them down because of what I did see at that Selinsgrove race for hot, fast, black groove tracks where the dots were almost missing. So not that there's a ton of meat there to start with, but you could barely see the dimple. And it was like, woo! And, from what I saw, some of those guys were fast. And I'm like, okay, just keep that in mind. But yeah, internal, that was the other correlation with the Burris. I don't think you can prep them internal if you want. If you're going to do it, light. Too much prep can slow them down. But I've also heard of people going bananas and over prepping the internals and really saturating the tire, pan rolling, goat and stuff on them. And you'll get it to drop, but yeah. Is the best indoor practice. Wait. I don't know where you're going with that, Alan. Indoor practice? I'm confused. Did you say something before and I missed it? Oh, okay. You retracted that statement. Okay. Yeah, here's one of my 23s. I have there it is. This one. This one's the smallest of the bunch. This is if I need stagger. And these are 23s, like I said, and they still feel good. Like, I don't know how much speed's lost out of them, but it gives me an option. Like, if I want to abuse a set of tires, if I want to goad up a set of tires, right before, say, qualifying or something like that, or a heat race, and, maybe I'll come off of the 25s and just, slather those guys last minute. If the rears are fast, the cut tires build heat fast, and the heat is Reapers. Yeah, I agree. So in that vein, was it last year? I think it's last year. I was a Reaper race, it's 500 to win Reaper race at Champion Speedway, and I turned my fastest lap times, which were, I think they tied Kyle Pease, who was, he's fast around here, his lap time, but I turned mine on lap 17. So mine were uncut and all that. But yeah, that makes total sense. It's, I agree. Did you get speakers for the new? I didn't get any speakers for the new helmet. If you're talking about running a receiver, matter of fact, I have a single cord half. I think where was it? Adrenaline Mountain Raceway? Yeah. We're tooling around doing the Scott Partlett Memorial. We're doing 4 wide and just everybody out on track at once. And I wasn't paying attention to where my cord was for my receiver, and it got wrapped around my rear tire, and the one went and gone. So I've had a single bud that I stick in one ear. I'll probably at some point in time reach out to Ronnie at Product 41. I think I would like one of the mounts that go on the helmet and just have my receiver on the helmet. That would run an indoor in the rental. Oh, running in. Oh man, am I? I think I'm slow. I've ran indoor at Syracuse. That's oval racing, Coke syrup racing. It's fun. It's not for this old guy anymore. There's people as old as me run it, but they've been doing it for years. I've only raced indoor twice on that. But if you're talking about when I run to Grand Prix. Oh yeah, okay. Maybe I'm missing. I would love to run indoor in the winter. Everything's so far away from me. We don't have dirt. The only indoor I have. See, I am slow. I'm sorry. I'm just not processing. If we had something like, what is it? Williamsburg? No. Yeah. The Cajun Nationals, if we had something like that around here, totally go. I would totally go. That's but the only thing we have in my neck of the woods is asphalt. Concrete, indoor, Coke syrup stuff, and I'm not interested. There's down in PA, there's also one in the barn or something like that, the hog barn, something like that, in Ohio, and then, Syracuse, and then Motorama, however you say that. I haven't been down to that yet. It's a lot. It's the last time my wife, now I was on the open. My wife went with me. 125cc, 2-stroke. And apparently I held my breath the entire time. And I came off and I took my helmet off, and my wife said I was white. I must have held my breath the entire time because of the G-forces and all that. And I didn't swear it off, but it takes a little more, encouragement for me to do it. Plus, it's always the first, Syracuse, for those who don't know, Syracuse Indoor is always the first week in December. First week in December here in town, we have Winter in the Village. It's just, it's a very small community. There are horse rides. There's they shut down the entire main street. There's bar hopping, basically. There's wine tasting. There's a whole we got like 3 churches, and there's a whole bunch of Christmas trees down this one strip, and then all the businesses in town, donate money to whatever, and then to charity, and then they all decorate each tree going down, and we go down. There's hot cocoa, there's donuts, there's deep fried Oreos and funnel cake and stuff like that. It's just so usually what happens is I'll get up early and I'll drive the 2 hours to Syracuse. I'll go in, watch the races, see a whole bunch of people I haven't seen in a while, enjoy, maybe get some footage or something like that, and then I beat feet back here, and then go with my family. We drive uptown to where I work, and then we can just walk up from there and go and hang out. Yeah, it's cold. Yeah, sometimes there's snow. Oh, there's ice sculptures too. Just a lot of family-oriented things where you get to hang out, and plus it's as little as it is. I'm a simple man. I enjoy the simple pleasures in life. Walking on Main Street with no traffic, it's fun to me. It's just, you're just lollygagging. That sounds like racist kid from the Bridge Kids. We don't have any indoor tracks down south. We still race it. Oh yeah, I know. That's, you don't rub it in. Don't rub it in. Not cool. I'm really not drinking. Yeah, I've been. I was super excited. This is not for the kids, but I won't swear or anything. But I like bourbon. I'm not anywhere near a alcoholic. Let's just not. We'll not even put that. But I do enjoy a couple times a week. I'll have a bourbon. I like it on the rocks. I just drink it straight on the rocks, and it's enjoyable to me. My wife's like, you waste it, you go right to bed. I'm like, it's not wasting. I play video games with my buddy. We play Call of Duty, and I have some bourbon and some snacks, and I'm having a great time. I don't know about you. You're sleeping. But I bought this big bottle. I like Rebel bourbon. It's 100 proof. It's a wheated bourbon. Turns out I do like wheated bourbon. I haven't had a real good rye yet that I like, but I bought a big handle, so it's not 750 milliliters, 1,750 or something like that. It's a big bottle. And I was like, I was walking by it the other day. I said, Debbie, I think my bottle's broken. And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, it's getting empty. She's like, that's you. I'm like, oh, if you keep on drinking it, it ends up going away, huh? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, ice kart race. There was a time Ernie Confer, he had a shifter cart, and Canisius Lake is right by me. It's like 15, 20 minutes away. And there was him and his buddies, and he put studded tires on, shifter cart, and went out on the ice. My only drawback of that is every now and again, you hear somebody falling through the ice. It happens. It's just they wander out too far. A couple guys were, having some and took their snowmobile out of it, and both never returned. They were gone. They bloop, and that was the end of them. I know it's unlikely. Obviously, you would be with people. Hey, man, it's this thick. Don't go on any further than that. And you listen to that knowledge there, and don't do that. But it also freaks you out. Like, yeah. Okay. What do I look for in a guy? Well, I look for friendship, and my wife would agree. I'm racing champ karts starting in the spring. Oh, thank you very much. Appreciate it. I've never driven a champ kart. I'm full on board. Would like to someday. I think it would be a wicked experience. That everything I know about them, just they take a little more to make work. Specific setup, it makes sense because the whole chassis would be bound because of the cage. But yeah, they always look like fun to me. There was a winged kart champ class around here that ran animals, and it looked like a blast. They had big wings on them, and I mean, obviously I run open, so everything's slow compared to me, but they look like a riot. I mean, those animals like 18, 20 horsepower or something, that looked like a riot. But that seemed to peter off. Also, there's the PA wings, but those are more like QRC type of karts, and they run Hoosier treads and stuff like that. That looks like a lot of fun. But yeah, the buggies, they do look like a lot of fun. And it's regional. Sometimes things do better than others, and areas do better than others. There's still KT100s that run down at Hunterstown. We can't get any kind of class whatsoever going up here for whatever reason. People just not interested. Track tech question: is PRW orange considered oily? Some around here are telling us that it is, but I wasn't sure. I don't think so. I think it's more. Oh, geez. I think it's more solvent based than oil based. Now, oily compared to like a straight Acrosol or AT2, Hot Lap 2, maybe. But orange is meant to just fire a tire off. I mean, it's, you only need a wipe, maybe two. I won't, I've heard people loading up on it. I don't think that's necessary. Basically, you're just activating whatever you have done to the tire already, or, just activating the tire in, a lot of times, back in the day when we were running Paradise up here, Burris 33s, and I just wipe orange on them just to fire the tire off. It dries pretty quick. I don't believe it to be oily, but if you're on a comparison with something like an Acrosol, something that is almost purely solvent based, then it, I guess you could consider it oily. But the DRT in it, that dirt repelling technology, that is something. I don't know what's all in the, I only use the stuff and, help people with using it. What that is, that might be what they're considering to be oily. It's keeping dirt from, penetrating the pores and filling up the tire. So that could be, but I don't think so. I am of the opinion that it is not. Really sounds a lot. Yeah. Oh, you're very welcome. I try. I make it a point to never assume I know everything, and helping is what I try and do here. It get people pointing in the right direction. I mean, it's still up to the individual to learn for themselves, to take what I've said, what people say at track, experience, and apply that to your racing. But I think I want to do a video eventually, maybe. I think that there is a lack of promotion kind of all around. Me, some of the YouTube guys, there are some tracks that do a wonderful job at it, but as a whole, as an industry, I think there's a lack of knowledge being passed around because people are very selfish with the knowledge, and I get it. Everybody wants to win. I understand. But if you think about the longevity of the sport, if you think about really bringing up the next people, because I'm not aged out by any means. I'm 48. I am getting older, but I've been doing it for 23 years. Where's the sport going to be once, I do age out, once I'm not fast enough to compete for wins and stuff like that, or you're going to fester and hold all that knowledge to yourself, or are we going to actually do the job that we should be doing, being ambassadors for the new people coming in and really helping? I'm not saying it's not nowhere. I'm not saying people are doing a bad job. I just think that there could be more on the promotional side. There could be more to bring what we do to the light of other people and help people like you. I think it's, I want to try and lead by example. I'm not the most knowledgeable. I don't have all the experience with certain types of dirt down south and et cetera that I can, transfer that knowledge, but I will at least take what I've heard, what I've learned, what I've observed, and try and transfer it to people like you to help you along, to get you started. That's sometimes you just need a little kickstart, and then the thing starts running really good. But yeah, I appreciate that. I have a brand new Shatter in the garage. You can jump in. That's man. I do wish I was further south, and it's funny because my wife, she's the little bit. She's older than me by a couple years. I'm not going to call her old because that would be mean. For years I've been saying I want to go down south. I want to go down south, and she's like, ah. And now, as winter's approaching, she's like, she loves fall. Don't get me wrong. It's really her favorite time of the year. She loves Halloween and stuff. And you should see the inside of my house. It is it's a haunted house. But then the winter hits, and then you're okay with it at first. You do the winter in the village, you do Christmas, and then it's just, you're over it. Like, okay, had enough. The snow can go. So the more years that we're here, the more she's just like, it would be nice if, summer was a little more extended. I'm like, yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. Hot's hot. I don't like being overly hot, but there's AC pools, there's lakes, there's an ocean that you can get into if you ever want to get cooled off. AC is probably the easiest of the bunch there, but when we went down to Kentucky, she's just like, it is really pretty around here. I'm like, yeah, I know. Anyway, all that to say that we have racing up here, but the extended season down south would be, this guy would love it. You guys just purely have better food. We might have better pizza up here, but you guys have better food down there. A big fan. Everything everything from the, oh, what was it? There's a one restaurant we don't have. I went one time and it was amazing. I'll think of it eventually. But sweet tea, I'm on it. You know, all the stuff, the barbecue, that I'm on it. Love it. uh, Outlaw Karts, why is it? Yeah. Yeah. The only thing I'd ever have to get used to on an Outlaw Kart would be the shifting, which I'll figure out. So my dad did motocross, 63. You know, he did it for years. I've never actually been on a motorcycle that you have to shift. I was on a semi-auto four-wheeler one time. That's about as close to it as I've gotten. I've never actually shifted anything. I'm pretty sure I'll figure it out. Yeah, I know. What's going on, man? Sweet. Yeah, that's. I think I would have a hard time getting her to go to Florida because it's too hot all the time. I would be fine with it. I mean, I'm miserable for about 3 days till I acclimate to, you know, any kind of heat source or cold for that matter. I can adapt pretty easy, but you know, I'm pretty grumpy for about 3 days. Like, hey, what is this crap? But then I'm good to go. And you know, I've raced 3 times in Florida. 3 times, 2 times, 2 or 3 times in Florida. Loved it. I love the day racing. I love being able to see nighttime racing's fun up here. It's all I've ever known, but racing during the day, state series, stuff like that, really cool. I liked it. Used to race down south line. It was a whole lot of draft racing. Played with tires up north, with sliders. Yeah, I know. And there's definitely validity to that. You don't see a whole lot of the size tracks that we have up north, down south. You know, it's, you know, their bull rings are pretty big to us. You know, I'm sure there's some. Don't get me wrong. I don't know every track. I don't race. I don't have that knowledge. But we have a lot of 10th miles up here. We have a lot of very hard to get a hold of, soft, mealy type of surface up here. It makes for great racing. I think off throttle time makes for great racing. But with anything, you know, AMS was off throttle time to me, you know, 2 years ago, and now I just wide open all the way around the thing. But that's part of that's me because I'm so used to the horsepower of that thing that when I get on this thing, it's just like, oh. But I'm fairly certain when I go to the Dream at the Dream, you have to lift there, which I think is fantastic. I think off throttle time makes for better racing. It's in NASCAR down to dirt kart racing in, you know, New York. It just makes for better racing. If you have to lift, it makes it good. When you get into that drafting thing where you're just pinned wide open and using, you know, a lot of it's tires, but you're using the draft, you're using bump drafts. There's a skill set to it, much like Talladega or Daytona. You know, in big cars, but there, you know, you being able to get in high and cut a corner a little better. I'm not saying it's better drivers. I'm not saying that. It's just different type of driving that gives you more options of, you know, attacking a corner up here. Georgia's way worse than Florida, and the humidity is terrible. You always have an ocean breeze in Florida. Yeah, in case you're right in between. Yeah, I really enjoyed Florida. One of my best friends lives down there in Daytona, or just outside of Daytona, and I went down when he got married 13 years ago, and even when I visited my dad in Ocala, and it was just, you know, the rain showers that Florida, everybody's used to. My wife and I were sitting out on the back porch in the screened-in porch, because you got to have those, and drinking coffee, and it's just like, this is A-okay. And then when we flew back to New York, it was sleeting in our face getting out to the car, and it's like, you're not doing yourself any favors, New York. Look at that. That was terrible. Yes, it is all fun racing. Like I said, you know, I think I was saying, I was pitted next to Gilbert at Nationals, and I was saying that thing. I've said it before, but I can have fun in an amusement park. I can have fun in electric indoor road course racing. I can have fun, whatever. I like racing, just in general. Has it got wheels on it? Cool. Let's do this thing. You know, I'll try and adapt. Doesn't mean I'm going to be great at it, but I'll adapt. It's fun for everybody. But yeah, I've been tinkering on the Shatter right along here. Not changing a whole lot from where it was delivered to me, but definitely some things we do up north that I was like, well, you know, I'd rather not do that. Just I'm not particular, but I know the way I like things. So I was moving some bolts and doing this and that, and changing placements of the spindles, which the Shatter chassis has both, you know, leads on both sides, so that opened an option. And another good channel. Oh shoot, what it? I'm drawing a blank. Kart Speed Solutions. I'm all about sharing the love around here. They shared a video, and I'm not always, you know, again, I don't know everything about karts. I don't, you know, it's just what I've run. And I'm like, you know what, a second opinion on this, a refresher, if you will, not a bad idea. So Kart Speed Solutions, his channel here on YouTube is fantastic. He hasn't done a video in a while, but he did share one from 2 years ago, I think it was, just the other day, and it was perfect because I had gotten the Shatter, and I was just like, I'm going to a bull ring. Where should I know where I run my stuff on my Phantoms, but I'm like, you know what? Let's revisit this, and where might I like to run the leads, the moving the L blocks either forward or back. This is what I'm talking about, or adjacent. You know, what does he have to say about it? And I was like, yeah, that what he said. I totally agree. But it was nice to hear somebody else. You know, I'm not in a void. I'm not I don't only listen to myself. But I thought that was really good, and I appreciate it. It was just perfect timing that he would, you know, share that and be like, yeah, that's, I love it. I love absorbing knowledge and learning new things, and you know, being able to apply it to my stuff. But yeah. But yeah, after this, I got to do some tires. Got to grind some tires. The one thing, I lost my angle grinder. We went to Nationals, and I haven't seen it since. It has my flap disc on it, and I don't know that I saw it when I took everything out of. I wouldn't have put it in my back seat, maybe. My truck. Sometimes my truck holds a lot of stuff that I don't know is in there. But I was going through the trailer real quick, just taking out, you know, all the stuff for open my wedge, my wing. I don't think they're going to allow that at Dreamfield on a clone. They got rules against that. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know where it went, but I might not be doing tires at all if I don't find it. I don't know where that went. I checked that box. I checked that box. It's a cluster in here. My wife and I are discussing getting a dumpster next year. I got my loft in my barn is just, the bats live up there, the squirrels live up there. It's seen better days, and there's a loft door that I just want to put a dumpster right out where my RV is right now, and just pitch stuff out. And a lot of this stuff is going to go. I mean, I don't like being this kind of pack rat. I'm not a hoarder, just definitely a pack rat. Some of this stuff, there's a nose up there that is junk. I don't know why I still have it. That can go away. There's just a whole bunch of stuff that needs to just yeet. That massive trailer you just talked about, put some of the things in the truck. Yeah, my massive 4x8 trailer. Yeah, it's huge, isn't it? Oh, man. How much a penalty per lap is it? It depends on track size. I know a lot of people that are quite a bit overweight for the classes they're running. We'll take Dan Guild, for instance. Well, he's this guy I know. There is Clone 300. I believe he runs a Slack Elevate or something like that. Maybe it's the one before that. Anyway, he runs Clone 300 at like 330 or 340, and he seems to keep up with those guys just fine. Track size matters. So rotational weight, the whole nine, the amount the engine has to push you. I don't have a calculation exactly what that per lap is, because it would really determine what track you're on. If you're on a big fast track, I think it's probably going to be a little detrimental. It's really, the more your engine has to work to keep with the pack, if you miss the draft, something like that, you're going to be in trouble. To whereas on a small track, where you're going to suffer is mostly on starts. Getting that extra weight up to speed. Once you're up to speed, the same thing happens in UAS. A smaller motor can turn a faster lap time. When people say, "Hey, I'm building a big block, blah blah blah, industrial style open engine," and they're like, am I going to be able to compete with the 250s, the 450s? I'm like, lap time, yes. Matter of fact, you could turn a faster lap then, but that's once you're spooled up. Restarts, restarts are where you may suffer. It takes more to get that momentum going, to get that your extra weight going. We're gonna find out. I'm gonna find out Saturday. I weighed dry, no fuel in it. Now a clone doesn't carry much fuel, so it's not going to be that big of a difference. But I was 375. I am running the clone races 360. So I'm already going to be 15 pounds overweight, and I didn't even give it a second thought of being terribly overweight. I guarantee you there are people there that may be weigh as much as I do, if not more, in their carts. And because it's a smaller track, I think it negates that. As long as you got enough gear to get you up off the corner, I think you'll be absolutely fine. The one thing I am definitely going to work on this winter is getting a set of mini gears. Not that I'm lock, stock, and barrel, like, oh, you got to have mini gears, but I need the comparison. I need, especially if I go to Selms Grove, if I go to some of these bigger, faster tracks, I really think it does make a difference. And I know, I've heard the stories, just like, I have one on this, and I run big gears. Okay, cool, but I physically saw it. Like the mini gears really had, whether it's just rotational weight or what, even if they're running a bigger rear gear than what you would consider mini gears, their smaller driver, the weight loss that the whole system has helps them utilize that horsepower a little better. So if you're gonna be a little more overweight for a class, I would suggest lightening up your drivetrain. Try and really make a difference. You could, their sponsor channel, 5.3 Titanium. You can get a titanium rotor, and this if you got the money for it. I'm not, if you can afford it, cool. But getting that rotational weight off of it will help utilize the amount of horsepower that you have and kind of negate you being a little overweight. But lap time wise, it's hard to say. If you're giving up a tenth or two every lap, but once you're spooled up, once you're in race speed, I wouldn't think that it's, unless you're 50 pounds overweight, then I think you're starting to really see some consequences of that. But yeah. Open trail, just so the tires going. Oh, maybe I read that wrong. I wasn't laughing at you. I was laughing at I thought that said big trailer. My bad. I reread that. I don't have my brightness turned up because it shines on my glasses. I'm using an open trail. I've used one of those before. So the tires go in the bed of the truck and the canopy table. Nice. Yeah. I've told this story before. I've driven to the races in I had a 2001 Caravan. I used to take the back seat out. It was the second and third row seating. I'd take those seats out and I'd put the cart in, and then I'd take my stand, fold it in half on the side there, and then I'd pack stuff on top of it. The only downside to that being it all enclosed, and the point of this is get to the races no matter how you can, just go racing, is that I used to use bear and goat pee back then, and maybe the reason I giggle as much, maybe the reason I am, maybe a little off is the amount of chemicals I've ever breathed in my life. I work in a high chemical area at doing body work, and then I'm around tire prep a lot, so get a little loopy on trips. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah, but I had an open trailer, was it 2 years ago? Utility trailer from Harbor Freight, and worked great. Just load everything on there and put everything in the put it in the back of the truck and roll out. We Oh man. Ooh, 50 minutes gone by already, huh? Oh, Mr. Reaper. Yeah, I got to get some of that tread off there. I don't have any clean rasps, or else I'd cut them down a little bit. I think I'll just make a mess out of them if I do that, so I'm going to have to do it the hard way with the grinder. And then not build up too much heat and create any hot spots or anything like that. Actually, I will say this, that I must have stretched the ever-living snot out of these right sides at the beginning of the year, because they actually held some, they held around 34. I think the one's like 34 and an eighth. I was really, really surprised. My wife said I had crap on my head. I keep on seeing that. I do have to check the sizes on the other. I may have to do some shrinking and stuff. As far as putting it together, really like it. I love the design. I think Mac did a wonderful job. Mike owns the company, but I'm friends with Mac on the Facebook, and I've bantered back and forth with him. I really like the design. Now, I would say this, that I was in a conversation with somebody, and not throwing names out there, but they were like, oh, that bar right there, where'd that come from? And it's just like, there's only certain amount of ways to bend bars, and one might argue that ideas are borrowed, but no two chassis are the same. That's, unless you get really wackadoo, like say an Infinity back in the day. A lot of them are getting similar through the waist. Their connection points, all that. The bars may be, and where you change the crossbars, where you change the waist bar. These all make a difference. He's a buddy of mine, so I'm not going to be mean or anything like that. But he's just like, oh, look at this one bar. It's just like, yeah, but that one bar looks an awful lot from your chassis. Looks an awfully lot like a Triton. So, which also looks like the first version of what was that company? Oh shoot. Wesley. I always draw a blank. I have selective mutism, where I can't, or not mutism, but memory loss here. I'm drawing a blank, and of course, Kinetic. The first version of the Kinetic was very Triton-ish. So I take that stuff with a grain of salt when it gets said, like, oh, this is, maybe that was that. I like this design. I think Mac incorporated a lot of designs into this. Where he drew the actual, inspiration for it. Maybe it was of his own making. Maybe he doesn't pay that much attention to other brands, which is possible. Maybe he just thought, hey, this looks like, it looks to me like it's going to be a very good design. Just I appreciate chassis design, so I look at other chassis. I look at the waist point. I look at what the front ends look like. Different stuff that I can appreciate. And Mac's new design here with this, I think, is fantastic. I really like it. I think it's going to do really well. I think it's not, like Ultramax out of the box, but it definitely, I think it, whether he did it on purpose or not, I think it combines some different designs together, and I think it should behave really well. Just my opinion on that. But yeah, so far, really like it. Of course, it's new. I'm gonna love anything new. But yeah, I will find out Saturday. Well, somebody had reached out to me and talked about how they run shatters, and they said they're very responsive. I'm like, that's that's probably one of the bigger selling points. And with me running this, I'm going to talk about this stuff when I actually do the video, but responsiveness to changes. I like chassis changes. I like moving cross. I like moving things. And as long as a cart is responsive to changes, responsive to, you make a stagger adjustment, responsive to a camber adjustment, um, I think is probably number one. I know that, and I'll say this, that, track support or information, having that one-to-one with everybody, and that's where I'm also going to come in. So if people do buy the Shatter chassis, being I'm on one, I'm going to have experience, and I'm going to say, hey, I've done this to it, I like this, you might want to change that, things like that. I think this is, it's going to be a really cool partnership because of not only their knowledge base, both Mike and Mac, the builder, but um, yeah, maybe Mike had influence on the way it was designed too. I don't know. I guess I haven't gotten that the far into the discussion with him, but um, I think that when I have experience with it, we're all going to be able to, if somebody, one of you guys buys a Shatter and they're like, hey, it's doing this, or I want it to do that, I'm going to be able to, hey, try this, try that. This is what I've done. I think it's going to be very, very cool. Um, Nice. Yeah. Alan right there. Alan's if anybody is interested in talking about one, they will, they build, this is the Shatter Blast that I have here, the newest version. But they also can do junior champs and senior champs. So those options are available. And Alan here's the man to speak to about the financials of that type of stuff, which will all be in the video. And I was telling Alan, hey, I want to run the thing. Obviously I did a video, a little video on a helmet, but it's a helmet. I try and have experience with things before I release a video. And I want to get to run it, good or bad. Maybe I just have a bad day. Maybe I'm missing tires. But I want to have that experience to be like, all right, let's talk about this cart and what I thought about it the first time out on it, or I truly believe it turned really well, but I missed on tires, or maybe I hit on tires and it did really well, and I think it makes for a better video if I have experience with stuff, not just as much as I have fun doing the promos, doing the promotional stuff for companies or products or whatever it is, races, everything like that. I do like to have experience with it before I speak of it as best I can. Now, I did one for GTR wheels. I just did these are GTR wheels, but since they've been great wheels to me, and I'm glad it turned out that way. It's just like, I do a video, hey, go out and buy this product, and then not know what they do, but they got a set of Burris 11s on them and running numerous times. They've worked out really, really well. So I don't, as much as what's the term? If you're paying, I'm saying that kind of, but not really. I'm selective on who I would like to represent. But I like to try and dabble a little everywhere. I don't want to, get too finite of, I'm like, I only do this one product. I only do this one thing. I only use this one thing. It's the channel, I think, suffers a little if I'm not expansive enough to kind of welcome everything. I have a ton of experience with Phantom. So mostly on open, but that gives me a good knowledge base for that brand. And then, obviously Shatter coming on board, this should give me a good, being a running clone. I'll be on that. People ask me if I was going to run in the open. I might get a bug up my, I'm going to run the UAS on, I'm probably going to put it back on the Scythe. I really like the UAS ride on the Scythe. The Recon's pretty good. I think I'm going to go back to the scythe. Or should I? I don't know. I got to make a decision on that, but I'm going to be running UAS on that. And then I'm going to primarily be running the clone with the Shatter. But when it comes to the Grand Nationals next year, Morrison Speedway, Tennessee, there's probably a good chance that I put the open on the Shatter. And, it's going to be a different track to me anyway. So it's, it's not like I got my numbers that I really like for open stuff. And it's kind of, and no matter if I've run the Recon or I ran the Deuce, I ran the Scythe, they're all similar numbers. So chances are I'm going to put those similar numbers on this thing and be right in the wheelhouse of where it wants to be. But yeah, I don't plan on doing a ton of UAS racing next year. Obviously, kind of like I did this year. Sorry, guys. Eye boogies. Probably just amass some points, get to go see my friends, have fun with the UAS, and then, go and do the Grand National stuff again. I was getting pretty caught up in points for a lot of years, and I was getting pretty upset at when I didn't perform well or things went wrong or this and that, and I don't want to do that anymore. I don't like being locked into points. I don't, everybody's out there to win, but I think it takes away from me. It takes away from the experience. It takes away from the fun. And I'm not submitting to my best years being behind me, but I had, with Wald on board, when we had the top of the line stuff, I was able to get a lot of UAS wins. I was able to do really well in the point system, but I got caught up in it, and I would get upset by things happening on track and me losing points for whatever reason. And I don't like that. I don't like that version of me. I'm way too competitive, so I've really made it a point to not chase points. I don't, even towards the end of the year, I was just like, man, I got 2/3. And I'm like, I didn't run enough. Oh man, I gave up. I could have been in the bonus points for a region if I had run more. And my mind just goes there. And I'm like, dude, stop that. Like, you did it on purpose. You did it this way for a reason so you wouldn't think about that stuff. But here I was going to the Grand Nationals. Like, man, if I make the main, I can, I run up in the top 10. There's a possibility. Maybe I can vault myself in the top 10 in points. I'm like, stop it. I'm just competitive. That's playing over the winter. Work on getting mini gears for this thing, and work on. I got to get I do some bottom end work on the 2-stroke. It probably a new piston too, just for good measure. Those are only $100 some bucks, so there should be okay there. But I got to get the bottom end gone through, because I can't remember the last time the bottom end went through on it. Got gone through on that. So there's that. But we are at 63 minutes. That's a great number. Thank you all for coming by. 20 seem to be 20 strong here on this. That's great to see. Not that it's competitive. Are all my competitors getting 20-some people on a live stream? No, but yeah, video is done. It's uploaded. I got to do a thumbnail. Yeah. For Sunday's video, fair warning. I will warn again. It is about installing a brand new seat with seat savers on the Shatter Blast. It's 40 minutes long. I start the entertaining stuff. If you're not into the seat, into installing seats, is going to be the pre and post segment of me doing that. But I try and keep everything. My wife thinks I try too hard to be funny, but I'm like, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just me. But anyway, yeah, it's I think it's 39 minutes. I was like, man, that's a rough one. I try not to make them that long. But again, if you're truly, if you're new to it, you've never installed a brand new seat, it's pretty much a step-by-step. This is how this is what I'm looking at. This is what I've considered. People have done this. This is, baseline. It's all that stuff. So I hope it, helps out some people. if they're new to, you know, putting in a brand new seat. You know, it even works on a used seat. But yeah, yeah, my other seats look like Swiss cheese, and it was about time. By the way, the was it Evolution? Great seat. I'm sure the Chavis Pro was going to be cool. That was the one I was initially going for. Went with the Evolution. Evolution's fantastic, super comfortable. I was really quite cozy in it. But all right, guys, thank you very much for stopping by. We'll see you next week. We'll do this thing again, and then I'll give a race report of how that went. Maybe there'll be some footage if the Insta everything works out. I'll have some footage from the Dream at the Dream 2000 win race. We'll see how that goes, but all right, I'll catch you later. Catch you guys later. Oh boy,